shortly. Did you know the best run municipalities in South Africa are all governed by the DA? DA mayors are working hard to protect residents from bad governance and mismanagement by getting the basics right, delivering better services and having zero tolerance for corruption. This is the DA difference. The next broadcast will start shortly. Follow us on social media for the latest in news and politics in South Africa. Like and follow our page on Facebook. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram and X. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on anything. Be part of the conversation. Tell us what you think in the comment section. And please, like and share our videos with your friends and family. The next broadcast will start shortly. If you care about South Africa and want to make a positive difference, then join the DA. Visit our website at da.org.za for more information. Find out who represents you in your ward and district. Who are the DA mayors working for you in your town or city, and which MPs represent you and your causes in Parliament. On our website, you can learn more about our latest campaigns and how you can get involved. Join the Democratic Alliance to rescue South Africa. Become an activist, become a councillor, become a member of Parliament if you care about South Africa. Please visit donate.da.org.za. Donate to a cause you believe in. Donate to make a difference. Welcome to a broadcast of the Democratic Alliance. Did you know the Democratic Alliance is the stable anchor of the Government of National Unity? DA ministers and DA deputy ministers are getting things done with a special focus on job creation and economic growth, driving down the cost of living and placing the needs of the people first. Join the mission to rescue South Africa. The next broadcast will start shortly. Did you know the best run municipalities in South Africa are all governed by the DA? DA mayors are working hard to protect residents from bad governance and mismanagement by getting the basics right, delivering better services and having zero tolerance for corruption. This is the DA difference. The next broadcast will start shortly. Follow us on social media for the latest in news and politics in South Africa. Like and follow our page on Facebook. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram and X. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on anything. Be part of the conversation. Tell us what you think in the comment section. And please, like and share our videos with your friends and family. The next broadcast will start shortly. If you care about South Africa and want to make a positive difference, then join the DA. Visit our website at da.org.za for more information. Find out who represents you in your ward and district. Who are the DA mayors working for you in your town or city, and which MPs represent you and your causes in Parliament. On our website, you can learn more about our latest campaigns and how you can get involved. Join the Democratic Alliance to rescue South Africa. Become an activist, become a councillor, become a member of Parliament if you care about South Africa. Please visit donate.da.org.za. Donate to a cause you believe in. Donate to make a difference. Let's rescue South Africa. Join the DA, because the DA gets things done.
Good morning. My name is Luyolo Mpiti Khatebe Mtimkulu Bungani, and we are live, Nasli, right here in Nelson Mandela Bay.
Sharif, that is right. We are here in the northern areas of Nelson
affects all communities across South Africa. It is not normal what we've seen in South Africa happening in this country, where we've seen people being violated, raped, murdered across our entire country. This situation is no longer normal.
Absolutely, Leolo. Just a couple of weeks ago, I myself was smashed and grabbed, and it just shows that nobody is immune to crime in this country. We are facing crime at every single level that we see ourselves in. As a woman, we can't even walk around and not feel safe in our own country, Leolo.
Well, what we know, Nasli, in this country, criminals have used South Africa as a hotspot. We have to convict, we have to catch, and we have to clean up the criminal system. The criminal justice system in South Africa is fundamentally broken, Nasli. And so today we are here to make this voice heard, to make sure that the people who have seen crime, like you're mentioning for yourself, Nasli, that their voices are heard here today.
Absolutely, and today we will be hearing from DA leader Jordan Hill-Lewis and many other leaders who are fighting crime in councils, in provincial legislatures, as well as in parliament. Please like and share this broadcast with everybody you know. Let us know your thoughts, some of your stories and experiences down in the comment section below. We must unite to fight against crime in our communities.
Now, Nasli, something crazy that we don't hear often is that when you call the police, when you call 10-111, the chances are is that they won't answer your phone calls. Now, the DA in the National Caucus conducted an audit report where they found that 56% of police stations across South Africa do not answer their phone calls. Now, if you look at a province like Limpopo that has 87 police stations, only 9 police stations answered the phone. These could have been phone calls of victims of crime, someone who's robbed, someone who's hijacked, or even a missing child.
And you know, those statistics are absolutely shocking. But we must remember, behind every statistic is a human life, is a human experience. And that is why our action today is so important. We are marching to the SAPS 10-111 Command Center, where we are going to put our voices together to say enough is enough. As you can see, there are thousands of DA supporters and community members joined in solidarity to make our voices heard. We have a huge program coming your way. We will be speaking to DA leaders, so make sure you don't go anywhere.
South Africa ranked as one of the most dangerous countries in the world.
Police are losing the fight against crime.
Criminals have actually studied the shortcomings of the criminal justice system, from its forensic capabilities to its detection capabilities and even follow-ups. We're seeing no prosecutions at all.
From kidnappings to the construction mafia to illegal mining, it seems organized crime is on the rise countrywide, and criminals have become more brazen than ever before.
You've seen what's happened with the National Prosecuting Authority, where they are under-resourced, the caseloads are far too high. Then you have the correctional services, where the prisons are overcrowded. It's a whole criminal justice system that is leading to this.
Parliament's ad hoc committee is set to resume its critical hearings, delving deeper into serious allegations of criminality, political interference and corruption within the police and criminal justice system.
There has to be an attitude of zero tolerance on any sort of crime, small or big. That's what we need to see.
And you have to start with the government. Unless they take corruption in their own scenario seriously, why would the police?
South Africans do not feel safe.
At the moment, it is purely talking numbers as though our people are just statistics.
Crime is simply out of control.
Welcome back to Nelson Mandela Bay, where we have thousands of supporters marching in solidarity to end violent crime. I am now joined by Retief Odendaal, who is the mayoral candidate for Nelson Mandela Bay, and Bax Nodada, who is the Deputy Chief Whip in Parliament. Retief, how are you feeling here today?
Well, quite emotional because thousands of people actually rocked up to say enough is enough, and they are taking a stance against crime and criminality in their communities, saying that they want to reclaim their streets and their neighborhoods.
Absolutely. Bax, how are you feeling today?
Absolutely proud of the team that came out of here today. The people of Nelson Mandela Bay are heartful, they're tired, but anyway, they're saying that we need to get criminals off our streets. Our children cannot be victims of gangs, drugs, and ultimately shootings and killings in our neighborhoods. So I'm absolutely proud of the over thousands of people that are behind me who are saying that enough is enough, and that's the stamp that we're going to put here. And that's why it's important that we have to elect Retief to have Nelson Mandela Bay safe again.
Absolutely. Now, Retief, we are in Nelson Mandela Bay. Why was it so important to have this anti-crime march here in Nelson Mandela Bay?
Well, Nelson Mandela Bay has sadly become one of the most dangerous cities in South Africa. 5 of our police stations are under the top 50 for murder rate in this country. And everywhere you go in this beautiful city of ours, people are living in fear, too scared to go out at night because they are scared they're going to be killed or raped. So we have to take a stance saying enough is enough. We want to reclaim our city.
Absolutely, Retief. Now, Bax, we know that a lot of work is being done in Parliament to fight crime. Can you tell us some of these steps?
Look, I mean, right now we're currently fighting against the DNA backlog in our police stations. A lot of our police stations don't have enough vehicles to go out to crime scenes and fight crime. But also the boots on the ground are not enough with the number of populations that we have. And that's why in Parliament we've now instituted a gang inquiry into gang violence so that we're able to root out that in our communities. Not only that, but we're making sure that we've got a state capture 2.0, where Scorpions 2.0, in fact, we were able to clean up corruption in our governments because it's part and parcel of the problem. As you've seen in the Mandela Commission, a lot of top cops are being arrested because they are complicit in crime, and they are part and parcel of those that are trying to capture our country. And that is what we're exactly doing in Parliament, to make sure that we get South Africa working, but more importantly, safer.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Now, Retief, you put your hand up to be the mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay, which is a huge responsibility. Why did you decide to do this?
Because this beautiful city deserves to be saved. We need to get Nelson Mandela Bay working again. We've got a city that is probably one of the most corrupt in the country, with nearly 50 billion rand in irregular expenditure on its annual financial statements. That represents money that was circumvented away from supply chain process so that people can loot. We are number 1 for looting, and as a result, there's no service delivery to the people of Nelson Mandela Bay. Our city is dirty, our city is dangerous, our city is broken, but we can fix it. There's hope for Nelson Mandela Bay because the DA has got a plan to get our city working again.
Absolutely. Now, Bax, before I leave you, we are in the throes of the march. Do you have a final message for everybody at home?
It's simple. If you want Nelson Mandela Bay to be safe, if you want Nelson Mandela Bay to be corruption-free, if you want jobs in Nelson Mandela Bay, if you want basic services in Nelson Mandela Bay, then it's simple. You need to go to check.da.org.za to make sure that you're registered correctly where you live. You can only vote where you live, and exercise that vote that many died for, to make sure that we get NMB working again, we get our municipalities working again, and more importantly, we get South Africa working again. It's only the DA that has a plan for all of our municipalities across South Africa to make sure that they are safer as we are cleaning up today. That's the message.
There we go. Retief, what's your final message to the viewers at home?
In order to get a safe Nelson Mandela Bay, or a city that works again, we need to unite behind the DA, because only the DA is strong enough to become the new government in Nelson Mandela Bay.
There you have it. Like I said, we still have a lot of leaders we will be chatting to tell you about the work the DA is doing against crime. Make sure you don't go anywhere.
recent report by Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Police has found that many stations are in a state of disrepair, negatively impacting on the morale of officers.
Over 1 million calls to police services call centres have been unsuccessful or dropped in the last 3 years. How worrying is that? It's due to the call centres being severely understaffed.
Victims of crime say when they try to report crimes at night, they are told to return the next day.
The public has also lost faith in the service, saying only high-profile cases are getting attention.
We can't lay charges. We can't get help from the SAPS. The phone lines is off when there's no electricity at the building. We can't live like this in this community.
Police lock their station at night, citing a shortage of staff and a lack of resources.
Residents say this is a major problem as crime is rife in the area.
Where do people go to report crimes which in all probability do happen in the dead of night?
Where does the fault lie? Is it the fact that our law enforcement agencies are not equipped to have the kind of oversight that we need? Is it a lack of resources?
The frustration levels are really high against the poor service delivery of our SAPs.
Welcome back to the DA broadcast live right now this morning in Nelson Mandela Bay. Right now, I'm joined by provincial leader of the Eastern Cape, Andrew Whitfield, as well as Koga Mayor, Chris Hatting, Hatting Borman. Andrew, I'd like to start with you. Andrew, why are we marching here today and why is it so important?
No, we're marching because crime is out of control. We simply do not have a handle on violent crime in the Eastern Cape and in Nelson Mandela Bay. Nelson Mandela Bay is the most violent city in South Africa. Eastern Cape, the most violent province. We need to do something about it. And we've descended on Nelson Mandela Bay today to say enough is enough. We need to convict and catch the criminals and we need to clean up the criminal justice system.
Hatting Borman, we want to know, as the mayor, what are some of the tips that you are using in your municipality to bring safer communities in your community and in your municipality?
In our municipality, partnerships is key. We cannot just say this is a SAPS issue and it's out of control and we need to make sure that they do it. We have to stand together. We have to get community groups, community policing forums. We have to get security companies. We have to make sure that municipal law enforcement, we all stand together and join and take hands to fight crime with the police. We cannot just leave it to them.
Now, Andrew, to bring you back in, I feel so many South Africans right now are struggling with the fact that it is not normal, the situation that we see across South Africa. It is not normal to walk across the streets and not feel safe. I mean, in other countries, people walk safely. What is the problem in South Africa?
Well, as you can see from the Mandela Commission of Inquiry, SAPS is rotten from top to bottom. It is out of control. What we need to do is get the DA into national government so that we can rescue South Africans from violent crime, create safer communities, and build a future of prosperity. I think that's what South Africans really want. It is not acceptable, it is not normal, and we are committed to doing something about it. But it starts by winning municipalities, enforcing bylaws like Mayor Hatting Borman is talking about, and making sure we tackle the root causes of crime from the bottom all the way up.
Now, Andrew, in a community like the one that we're in right now, there's a lot of gang violence. What are we doing as the DA and what is our offer?
Well, we've been talking about this for a long time. We've been intervening. We've demanded that Parliament take action. We've had the Minister of Police come to Nelson Mandela Bay because we told him that there's a problem. The problem really is that SAPS has lost control. We need a new government that can fix and repair the South African Police Service, clean out the criminal justice system so that we can catch and successfully convict gangsters. Gang violence in Nelson Mandela Bay and the Eastern Cape, more than half of cases, gangsters have been let out because of poor investigations and then the inability to successfully convict. So the entire system needs an overhaul if we're going to put gangsters behind bars.
Well, that's where we are going to leave it right now. That was Mayor Hatting Borman as well as the provincial leader of the Eastern Cape, Andrew Whitfield. We'll be right back.
South African women continue to bear the brunt of violent attacks in South Africa, be it rape, murder, or assault.
The country is confronted by unacceptably high rates of murder and rape. Now, there are arrests, but that's only half the story. The conviction rate is incredibly low.
The backlog in DNA results is delaying justice for many South Africans.
There are plenty of criminals roaming free, probably reoffending. This is due to a lack of DNA evidence not being able to be presented in court.
400 rape cases were thrown out of court due to insufficient evidence.
Some people have even lost hope in the law enforcement and justice system.
Despite repeated commitments by SAPS to resolve the issue, expired service contracts, unmaintained equipment, and ignored recommendations have deepened the dysfunction within the forensic system.
The DNA backlog in South Africa presents significant challenges for victims of crime, particularly those affected by gender-based violence and sexual assault.
With the DNA backlog growing month by month, can we actually afford to have justice denied to the thousands of victims of gender-based violence in the country?
From what we understand, it could take up to 3 years before a victim even gets their time in court so that they can see justice prevail. How can it be?
We are failing the women of South Africa, aren't we?
Welcome back to Nelson Mandela Bay. I am now joined by Yusuf Kasim, the DA provincial chairperson here in the Eastern Cape, and of course Sumila Komani, the SRC president for Nelson Mandela University. Yusuf, today is a very big day. How are you feeling?
I feel like this is a very emotional moment for people like myself and those that live in the northern areas of Nelson Mandela Bay. We have become accustomed to our children catching stray bullets in the streets, and that's not a normal situation. About 2 years ago, Emilio Hutchinson, 3 years old, had to witness his grandmother being murdered in front of him in his own home, and he lost his life as well. And this march is a culmination of the struggles that we have fought before then and since then to ensure that none of our children have to suffer the fate of Emilio Hutchinson, which should never happen in a normal society.
I couldn't agree with you more. Now, Sumila, you're the SRC president. What are students saying about crime at the Nelson Mandela University?
This has been one of the most biggest issues we have experienced as the students of Nelson Mandela University. Especially we have a lot of students who stay off campus, staying in these areas like Costa, like the central and also the town, the CBD of Port Elizabeth. So this is a very important march to us because it symbolizes what we stand for as the Democratic Alliance Student Organization, that we are against the crime and we are against the rapists that are roaming around our street where justice is not served in South Africa. So as the organization, we are firm in our stance that away with these criminals, away with these rapists, because we've lost a lot of students on this crime, and also students have been raped around. They are not feeling comfortable walking around at night, going to the labs, and it's making our lives very difficult as the students of the Nelson Mandela University. So this is a very important march for us. It symbolizes that we are standing against the rapists, we are standing against the criminals that have been robbing our students.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Now, Yusuf, why was it important to have this march here in the northern areas of Nelson Mandela Bay?
We have exhausted all of the parliamentary processes. I've personally presented to the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee of Police. There was a report that was adopted. There was recommendations and findings that the minister was supposed to implement, and he hasn't implemented it. Therefore, the march is here because this is the murder capital of the country. This is the rape capital of the country. There is an abnormal situation where we as citizens are incarcerated in our own homes while the criminals run free. The criminals should be incarcerated in St. Albans whilst we as citizens can enjoy our freedom. And therefore we are here for action. Action for the people of Nelson Mandela Bay, action for the people of the Eastern Cape, and action for the people of South Africa who are tired of being treated as if their freedoms and their lives do not matter.
There you have it. The theme of today is catch, convict, and clean up the criminal justice system. We still have a lot of leaders that we will be speaking to, and of course we have the most anticipated stage program, so make sure you don't go anywhere.
city of Cape Town was brought to a standstill yesterday when taxi operators suspended services over a number of their vehicles being impounded.
Commuters have been left stranded in Cape Town this morning as most taxi operators have gone on strike. They've also shut down major routes heading into the city centre.
Thousands of commuters in Cape Town have been left stranded with the city at a virtual standstill.
We've seen over the past few days scenes of absolute chaos, buses set alight and torched, as well as sporadic incidents of stone throwing and looting.
The fact is that the people that we are negotiating in a negotiating room are the same people whose members are out in the streets causing incredible violence and mayhem, disruption to our city, and even murder.
It comes after the city impounded a number of taxis it deemed unroadworthy and have committed dangerous traffic offences.
The city has been very adamant in that, saying that taxi operators need to abide by the law.
We've made it clear that we are not attending any further discussions with Santaco until such time as all disruption stops in the city.
We have to, as governments, across governments, send a message, not just to the taxi industry, but to any industry, that violence is not the way to do that. You cannot bring us to the negotiating table through violence.
That is our number one priority at all times, is keeping commuters in our city, the passengers of taxis and other road users safe.
We're still live right now in Nelson Mandela Bay. We are now with the federal chairperson of the Democratic Alliance, Sodi Msimanga. Sodi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I mean, a very important day today, significant moment where we're speaking about crime.
Well, it is a very important day in South Africa. I mean, think about it. In South Africa, you're having a situation where on a daily basis now, we're getting embarrassing information in the Mandela Commission, in the parliamentary ad hoc committee about how the South African Police Service has been captured. And we wonder how we are going to win the war against crime. It is very, very much abnormal that everyday citizens will live in fear while criminals are living a very jolly life. And therefore, this is why we are saying it is important that we begin to clean up the South African Police Service. We begin to clean our prosecution authority so that criminals will fear the justice system. The criminals will fear the police service. And then us, as normal, ordinary, law-abiding citizens, can really reclaim our freedom and really live in peace here in South Africa. This is why we are here today.
Now, Sodi, one of the things that families are feeling, scared to go out, scared that your children get involved in drugs. And even if you are a good parent, even your child can die through a stray bullet. I mean, this community that we're in here today is facing a great deal of gangsterism.
Well, that's exactly the point. Look at what is coming out of the Mandela Commission. How many guns have actually then come out of the South African Police Service that got to be used again for criminal elements? How many kilograms of drugs have been taken by the police back into the communities? And this is where they ended up as. And this is why you have communities that are actually then, murdered, communities that cannot really live a meaningful and a free life. And this is something that we are saying as a Democratic Alliance, we now need to then change. This is why we are calling for a clear cleanup of the South African Police Service, a cleanup of the prosecuting authority, and to make sure that there is speedy prosecution, and that we're able to then give the men and women in blue, the resources that they need to be able to then catch criminals, to be able to then make sure that there is clear conviction. That is something that we're sitting with. Luyolo, in Gauteng as an example, you have 145 police stations. You must go and find out how many don't even have vehicles. Those that have vehicles don't have police stations. So now you have to then use your vehicles to go to a police station that is out of your precinct, which means that you are not able to then do visible policing. Yet you have people that are saying that there is no problem. We have a clear problem, and it's not a problem of the police and the men and women in blue wanting to do the job. The problem here is management and lack of political will to ensure that we resource the police for the work that they're supposed to be doing, training them more, getting more detectives, and making sure that we're able to then fast track the issues of convictions.
And you know, one of the things that we found out not so long ago, a few weeks ago, is that 56% of police stations don't answer the phone call. What are we saying as the DA around this issue? Because 10,111 is seemingly becoming a number that is no longer helping South Africans.
Well, that talks to the issue of basics. If you're not going to take care of the basics, then whatever you do else doesn't make sense. We've had Panyaza Lesufi talking about drones and helicopters, but then the people who are then to be calling those drones and those helicopters, don't have anywhere to call. Shockingly, I visited a number of police stations where policemen have to use their own personal cell phones to be able to then, give community members service. That is just not okay. How do we then ensure that there is a link between the police and, members of the community? Sadly, when you ask members of the community, they tell you a very strange but sad story. They tell us that, even when we have to go to the police station, it is just for formality. We don't go there to report crime because we're expecting that it's going to be resolved. We go there report crime because we need case numbers for insurance claims. We need case numbers, in case, something happens later on in life. And that is just not normal. We now need to then have and restore the confidence in the police service. And this is why we are here today saying, let's resource the police. Let's make sure that we get them trained. But more importantly, let's make sure that we get rid of the corruption. Because if we get rid of corruption within the South African police service, we can free up the money to make sure that the resources can be allocated to them.
Now, Ngokele, as your final word, I know in this march, it was not just DA members in this march. There were NPOs, there were community leaders, there were people who have been affected by crime, people, South Africans, ordinary South Africans joining the DA today to march. What is your final say, Ngokele, to the people watching at home, but also to the people that are here who will also be later hearing from yourself and the leadership of the party as to what we're going to do about the crisis that is crime in our country?
Well, the message is pretty simple. Sitting back and watching everything go by is not going to be the solution. In fact, that is an invitation for you to become the next victim. What we need is for you to get up and join a movement that is saying enough is enough. We need to stop crime, because if we're not going to stop crime, we're not going to be able to attract investment into South Africa. We're not going to be able to then end the usage of drugs. We're not going to end the usage and the destruction of our infrastructure here in South Africa. But we are going to rob our families, our future generations, our young people of a future where they can live, in a free society. And therefore, stand up, come and join us, come and join a movement that is saying we want an end to crime. We want a free society that is prosperous, that is able to attract investment, that is able to create millions of jobs, that is able to then give our people a dignified life. We want to see our sisters walking down the streets, a day and night without any fear of being raped. We want to make sure that our young people are not drawn into a life of drugs. We want to make sure that you're able to then have a life that you deserve and a life of dignity. That we can do if we hold hands and not sit back and hope that somebody will do the job for us. All of us as individuals, let's then hold hands and say enough is enough.
That is our federal chairperson of the Democratic Alliance, Solim Simanga, joining us, speaking quite clearly about the significance of today's march. Of course, later on, we'll be hearing from the DA federal leader, Jordan Hill-Lewis. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The city of Cape Town is investing over 55 billion rand to boost safety and security.
The city of Cape Town has set aside 55 billion rand towards safety in the metro. Resources and boots on the ground bring the total number of LEAP officers to 1,100.
The city of Cape Town is investing in drone technology to protect infrastructure while also fighting crime. The metro says it will share the technology with police and other law enforcement agencies.
Well, the city of Cape Town is turning to technology to bolster crime-fighting efforts. The city will introduce dashboard cameras and body cameras for law enforcers.
CCTV cameras strategically placed in crime hotspots, the City of Cape Town's law enforcement officers are able to respond more effectively. And with the help of drones, criminals will be finding it difficult to escape detection.
Our City of Cape Town is ramping up its fight against crime with cutting-edge surveillance technology.
The City of Cape Town says the new eye-in-the-sky technology is a game-changer for law enforcement in its fight against crime.
Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis says he wants all residents to be safer.
If criminals think they've escaped us today, we're coming for them. It will happen at random points in the future until we see the numbers going in the right direction.
Mandela Bay, where we marched to the SAPS 10111 call center. I am now joined by the DA spokesperson in Parliament on policing and councillor in Nelson Mandela Bay, Ondela Kepa. Welcome, Lisa. How are you feeling today?
Thank you, Nasli. I'm so excited. There's so many people that have come out today. We're so thankful that the CPFs, that the neighborhood watches, that communities come out and is marching with us against this scourge of crime that's taking over our country and Nelson Mandela Bay.
Absolutely. Now, Ondela, we are standing behind a mural that memorizes everybody that was lost. You are a councillor here in Nelson Mandela Bay. What is the crime issue and what have you experienced firsthand?
Well, as you can see, there's quite a number of names here behind us, but those names are not the only ones. There's many more lives that we've lost in this metro, senselessly and unnecessarily, because we don't have a government that is able to provide services that are going to ensure that we prevent crime instead of reacting to crime.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Now, Lisa, we've heard the statistics, but behind every statistic is a human life. Why is it important to never forget the human factor?
Absolutely, Naz. You know, the problem is that there's no victimless crime. Behind every crime is a victim, and behind every victim is a family. It is a mother, it is a father, it's a daughter's son. They're experiencing the trauma, and we shouldn't just look at these people and these murders and these rapes as statistics. We should see the human behind it, because at the end of the day, they experience so much trauma, and that affects the whole of society. So we have to try and find a way to curb the scourge of crime so that we can give people the dignity in their lives back.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Now, Ondela, you work within communities. What are some of the things you have seen firsthand?
Some very gruesome things, and I think the most concerning thing for me is the fact that people living in fear has become a norm. And unfortunately, we are living in an environment where the government doesn't care to provide the services. For example, I'm the spokesperson for electricity in this metro. As we speak, nearly half of our metro has no streetlights that are functioning, which means that people now have to plan their lives around crime instead of planning their lives around opportunities. Now you have to calculate what time you leave home, what time you come back home. Some people even have to take out money that they don't have out of their own pockets to pay for private transportation so that they can be dropped off in front of their house. Because if you get dropped off at a taxi stop or at a bus stop, that walk from the bus stop to your house could be a deadly one. And so that is the kind of a government that we are currently living under. And that's why, as a DA, we are taking a stand here today to say we are standing with South Africans against crime, to make sure that we build safer communities that everyone can feel safe in.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Lisa, we know that you've been driving the DNA crisis relentlessly. Can you tell us about some of the work you've done and what you have found?
So we've done a lot of oversight across the country, and we've really found that there's a massive shortage of D1 and D7 rape kits. Fortunately, we were able to intervene, and they were sent from the main store in Pretoria. But we have a massive crisis with DB kits, and those are buccal sample kits, and they are used by all police officers. And I don't think people realize how important these DNA kits are. And then we also sit with a forensic science lab that has a massive backlog, and they cannot analyze these crime kits, and that's why the cases don't go to court. And if they do go to court, they postpone. And that is why our slogan of catch, convict and clean up is so important, because we have to make sure that we convict the criminals and get them off the streets.
Yeah. So important, and we are seeing the cleanup happening slowly in the Mandela Commission. Now, Ondela, what are some of the changes that can be made to see an improvement in government and giving of basic services?
I think the first one and the most obvious one is that we need to fix the street lights. We need to be able to bring in a metro police that is going to be able to police our communities and ensure that we do not have communities and streets that are unattended to, at least by law enforcement. In 2018, when we were in government here as a DA, when we launched the Metro Police, there were many stop and goes that we had in many of the problematic communities. And a lot of people at first had a little bit of restriction, but once they saw some of the weapons that were coming out of the cars that were being stopped by the police, they begin to understand the necessity, because those weapons in the hands of a criminal could be a dog being kicked down at your home and ensuring that you are another victim of crime.
Lisa, you have been working in this space for quite some time. What is one or two of the stories that you remember that sticks with you?
Nasli, we've had so many terrible cases that have come to us, and I think, as I said to you earlier on, we speak about statistics but we forget the names behind them. And Gabin Daba, which I know you're also very helpful with, is a case that will stick with me forever, because they still don't have any results. They don't know who her murderers were. Her family is left with questions, and I think that is one of the things that sticks with me, is like, how do we help them so that they can get closure in life? And then the other case that I have is, recently I visited a court in Atlantis where I had to sit behind a man that had impregnated an 11-year-old girl that had actually given birth. And I mean, that's crazy to think that a child, a baby, 11 is a baby. At 11, you're giving birth. She has no life left. I mean, she's no longer a child, and her childhood has been stolen from her by a perpetrator that is so arrogant and that's in court. And we will follow the case and hope that actually there's a good outcome for her and her family. But at the end of the day, her life has technically been ruined and her childhood has been stolen. And that is why we fight so hard, is so that we can give children their childhood back. They can live a safe life where they can play in the street, where they can go and visit their friends without being worried if they're going to get kidnapped and killed in the street, where women can walk in streets at night and feel safe, and where families can live in their homes and know that their doors aren't going to get kicked in tonight and they're going to be robbed.
Yeah. Now, Lisa, you've called for lifestyle audits on senior police officers. Why is that so important?
Nasli, we can't have people in the highest echelons of the police that are not above reproach. We have to make sure that they stick to the law. How do we expect them to convict criminals if they are criminals themselves? How do we expect them to convict and curb corruption if they're part of the corruption? It can never be right for us to do that. So we've asked for these lifestyle audits. They seem to have been implemented. But what's interesting is, out of it already, I've seen that a lot of the lifestyle audits have actually flagged several generals and brigadiers and colonels in the police already. So if we hadn't asked for it, what would have happened? And this is something that must happen immediately. When anybody is promoted in the police, lifestyle audit should be done. And if there's any sense that there's something wrong, an investigation must take place immediately.
It has to be like that. There's no other way. Now, Mandela, we've reached the final point of the march here at the SAPS 10111 call center. What is your final message to all the viewers at home?
I would like to say that this that we've done as a Democratic Alliance today is a statement to show South Africans that we stand with you. We want to build safer communities. We want to ensure that people are living a life of dignity and of safety, and that our children have a future. And instead of growing up in communities of violence, they grow up in communities of hope. And that's the message we are bringing here today as a Democratic Alliance, saying let's stand together, let's fight this crime, let's fight corruption, and let's get this government out of Nelson Mandela Bay and usher in a government that is going to work for the people.
Yeah. Lisa, what is your final message to all the viewers at home?
Well, Nasli, I think we all know we can live in a safer country. South Africa can be safer than what it is now. And it's so important for people to get involved. We really do need a whole of society approach. We need neighborhood watches. We need CPF. We need institutions to help us to strengthen our hands. We need the community that if they see something is wrong, we need them to say something. If you see something, say something, so that we can help you to make your community safer, and we can build a better South Africa for everybody that resides within it.
The DA is here at Nelson Mandela Bay to say we need to catch, convict, and clean up the criminal justice system. We're still going to speak to a few more leaders, and then of course we will be heading to the stage program, so make sure you don't go anywhere.
I'm Jordan Hill-Lewis, the leader of the Democratic Alliance. Crime is killing people's hope that our country can get better. I want you to know that a DA-led national government in South Africa will restore law and order. We will catch, we will convict, and we will clean up. Catch means more visible policing, stronger traffic and bylaw enforcement, safer public spaces, and faster emergency response. It means giving Metro Police in working cities more powers to fight crime and, importantly, to investigate crime to make sure it gets done properly. Convict means better investigations, tougher prosecutions, and professional criminal justice systems that deliver real consequences for criminals and corruption. And third, clean up means getting corrupt police officers out of the system. It means mandatory lifestyle audits to explain unexplained wealth. And it means ending ANC cadre deployment in the police. The DA will fix the criminal justice system from beginning to end. We will catch, convict, and clean up. That is how the DA will restore law and order in South Africa. And that is how we will build a South Africa that works for everyone.
Si chabasa, Yesu, si chabasa, South Africa, South Africa. Die blauw van onze hemel, die diepte van ons Heer. Oor ons ewige gebergtes, waar die kranse antwoord gee. Sounds the call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
Viva! Viva!
Colleagues, you can close your umbrellas now. You can close it. Thank you so much. You've been very, very disciplined so far. I know the DA is a very disciplined party.
Yes, sir.
So now, your umbrellas is closed. You're looking beautiful. You're looking energetic. I want you to put your hands together for our provincial chairperson and the Deputy Minister of Higher Education. None other than... Over to you, Mr. Kassim.
Alala Yusuf Kassim, alala.
Allah.
Viva Yusuf Kassim, viva.
Viva.
Pata Yusuf Kassim, pata.
Pata.
Gana Yusuf Kassim, gana.
Gana.
Amandla. Awetu. Pameli Yusuf Kassim, Pameli. Viva Yusuf Kassim, viva. Ololo Yusuf, ololo. Away Yusuf, away.
Long live the spirit of Kellen Andrews. Long live.
Long live.
Long live the spirit of Harrison Sneyers. Long live.
Long live.
Long live the spirit of Nathan Kurt. Long live.
Long live.
Long live the spirit of Micah Claassen. Long live.
Long live.
Long live the spirit of Tracy Brown. Long live.
Long live.
Long live the spirit of Biardine Rajal. Long live.
Long live.
Long live the spirit of Ivadine Low. Long live.
Long live.
Long live the spirit of Shanice Fetu Jonathan. Long live.
Long live.
Long live the spirit of Ellen and her grandchild Emilio Hutchinson. Long live.
Long live.
These are just 10 of the over 1,000 of our people that have lost their lives to gangsterism over the last 2 years, which included 39 of our children. This is who you are fighting for today. And I was told that as we arrived here, as the blue tsunami, give yourself a round of applause. I've never seen anything like this before. That in the flats opposite, there was a break-in just now before we arrived. This is what we are living with. It is not normal for a 3-year-old child to be murdered in his own home. And we were joined today by Ellen's cousin, Auntie Chantal. Let's give her a round of applause. And remember her and her family in our prayers. We were joined today by Constable Kellen Andrews' dad, who is also with us here today. Let's give him a round of applause for the sacrifice that he has made. This is why we are here today. We have fought for years, and you have fought for years for action. And if I look around today, I believe that that action is coming. We can no longer continue with the status quo. And therefore, our numbers, thousands of South Africans, all of you that have joined us, have put this crisis onto the national agenda. We want action to catch, to convict, to clean up, to ensure that never again we will lose another innocent life. Thank you for being here today. You are the real heroes that will deliver our people to the freedoms for us to enjoy. It is not normal for us as the people of South Africa to be incarcerated in our homes whilst the criminals run free. Thank you for being here today. Thank you to the DA and to our leader Jordan Hill Lewis for being with us here today.
Viva DA, viva! Kom ons gee vir Yusuf 'n beter handeklap. Kom ons doen dit mal en ons doen dit mal. Colleagues, I want you to put your hands together for the middelman. Dele wie dit is. Repeat you are dal. Kom ons maak geraas in die plek. Van hoe die negatieve dinge gebeur. Kom in my plek, ek sal jou wys hoe dinge binne beweeg. En jy first-hand experience het van hoe ons leef. Kinders wil kinders wees, maar hulle kie je paak en nou staan hulle op die corner met jongens so.
Good afternoon, Nelson Mandela Bay. What an amazing sight to see all this blue. I want to say to the federal leadership of the DA, welcome to Nelson Mandela Bay, soon under new management. Over the last couple of months, I've traveled the length and breadth of our metro to engage with people on crime in their communities. Whether you live in KwaNobuhle or KwaZakele, Mission Vale or Bloemendal, Warmer or Summerstrand, people are full of living in fear. Fear of gang violence, fear of violent crime, fear that when they need help the most, nobody will answer. That is now not how a city must function, and it's not what the people of this metro deserve. Today, we are saying enough is enough. The truth is that crime is not winning because criminals are smarter. Crime is winning because government has failed. The numbers tell the story. Between 2021 and 2025, more than 88% of all gang-related violence in Nelson Mandela Bay took place right here in the northern areas. Out of 361 gang-related shooting incidents, 319 happened in communities that have been crying out for protection for years. These are not statistics. They represent families who have lost loved ones, children who have grown up surrounded by violence, and communities that feel abandoned. And the failure starts even before officers arrive. Too often, residents cannot even get through to the police. The DA recently audited more than 1,000 police stations across South Africa, and the results were shocking. 56% did not answer either of their official telephone lines. Here in the Eastern Cape, 55% of police stations failed to answer. Our oversight visits to the 10111 Emergency Communication Center exposed the same story. Staff shortages, outdated technology, and serious problems contacting police stations. Every second counts. When people call for help, they deserve an answer. They deserve a rapid response. They deserve a government that takes their safety seriously. That is exactly what a DA government will deliver in Nelson Mandela Bay. Our plan is built around one simple principle: catch the criminals before they destroy another family. We will establish a metro police precinct in the city's crime hotspots, including reopening police presence on the sites of the abandoned Fountain Avenue Satellite Police Station in Walmer Township. We will double the current complement of Metro Police officers within the first 12 months. And within 5 years, we will build a professional Metro Police service of more than 500 officers supported by over 60 vehicles. But policing in the 21st century requires more than boots on the ground. It requires intelligence, it requires technology, and it requires coordination. That is why we will establish a permanent 24-hour joint operations center to bring together Metro Police, SAPS, the Hawks, private security companies, and neighborhood watchers together against crime as one. We will expand our citywide CCTV coverage. We will deploy shot-spotter technology to detect and locate gunfire within seconds. We will use drones to monitor crime hotspots and license plate recognition technology to identify vehicles linked to criminal activity. Every tool available will be used to identify, pursue, and catch those who terrorize our communities. But this is not about making empty promises. It's about delivering results. And we know that safe communities create jobs. Safe communities attract investment. Safe communities allow children to play outside again and businesses to grow with confidence. Nelson Mandela Bay does not have to accept the state of lawlessness as normal. We can build a city where the law-abiding majority no longer live in fear of the criminal minority. We can build a city where criminals know they will be found, arrested, and prosecuted. And we can build a city where every resident, regardless of where they live, knows that their government stands firmly on the side of victims, not criminals. That is our commitment. A DA government will restore visible policing. We will restore intelligence-led policing, and we will restore accountability. But most importantly, we will restore hope. Together we will build a city where criminals look over their shoulders and families can once again look forward to a safer future. But in order to get a safe city, we have to ensure that we get the thugs out of City Hall before we get the thugs off our streets. And that all starts by a vote for DA government in November. Let's get NMB working again.
Hands together for a tip once more time. Kom ons gee hom 'n hartlike hande klap, mense. Now allow me to call on All Stars to the stage as they're going to perform an item. Can you please put your hands together for All Stars? Are you ready to dance? Are you ready to dance? Ons gaan jive nou, né? Let's go.
Wind is calling from the sea. Our hearts are strong, our spirit free. From the storm's river to Bizana, we stand as one, together strong. Eastern Cape, dear rise, this will stay. What's on to stand? Zanzibar, Bagama, together we rise. Eastern Cape, make some noise. Elke droom wat ons saambou, staan saam vandag. Kyk vorentoe, van klein dorpe tot ons metro's. Ons deel 'n toekoms, sterker, verder. Eastern Cape, die rise. Dis ons tyd om saam te staan. Zanzibar toe, together we rise, Eastern Cape.
Sisonke siyaphakama in the light of the brand new dawn. Sethu umzansi onamandla, let the freedom carry on. Let's go!
Come on, Eastern Cape, come on, Eastern Cape. Together we rise, Eastern Cape, Eastern Cape. Come on, hey, DA rise. Let's all stay. One sound to stand. Zanzibar to Bagama, together we rise, Eastern Cape. Elke droom wat ons saambou, staan saam vandag. Kyk vorentoe, van klein dorpe tot ons metro's. Ons deel 'n toekoms, sterker, verder. Eastern Cape, come on, Eastern Cape, come on. Dis ons tyd om saam te staan. Zanzibar to Bagama, together we rise, Eastern Cape.
Sisonke siyaphakama in the light of the brand new dawn. Sethu umzansi onamandla, let the freedom carry on.
What's on the stand? Zanzibar to Bagama, together we rise, Eastern Cape.
Because the blue machine is sweeping through the streets of Nelson Mandela Bay. to introduce the father of the Eastern Cape. Very important man. And I want you to keep this guy in your prayers. He's my leader, he's your leader. He's the official leader of the DA in the Eastern Cape. And he's also our provincial leader, none other than Andrew Watson. What, Andrew, what? What, Andrew, what?
Election, cause we kind of excuses.
Viva Andrew, viva!
People want to lose.
Viva dear Eastern Cape, viva! Down with crime, down! Fellow Democrats, we have gathered here today to answer the painful cries of people from our communities across South Africa. Good, honest, hard-working South Africans who just want to live a life without fear, in safe communities, and go to bed with the sound of silence, not the sound of gunshots. South Africans who are crying out for a police service that serves them and not the very criminals that are taking their innocent lives and destroying the social fabric of our communities. The truth, Democrats, is that keeping people safe doesn't end when a criminal is arrested by the police. In fact, that is where the work begins. A pair of handcuffs means very little if that criminal is back on the streets a few months later because the investigation was weak, the evidence wasn't collected properly, or the case simply fell apart. The criminal justice system is supposed to give victims confidence that crime has consequences. Yet today, right here in the Eastern Cape, we live in a province without real consequences for criminal behavior. Between January and March this year alone, the Eastern Cape recorded 949 murders, 1,853 sexual offenses, 524 attempted murders in just one province. The majority of these violent crimes were committed right here in Nelson Mandela Bay. KwaZulu was ranked as the police station with the highest number of murders in South Africa, while New Brighton, Walmer and KwaNobuhle all featured among the country's 20 worst police stations for murder. Now, these are not just numbers on a page. You heard the names of the lives that have been lost in this community. They represent lives cut short and families shattered, children growing up without parents, and communities living in fear. But there is another statistic that should worry every single South African. In the northern areas, over the last 6 financial years, police made 181 arrests in connection with 142 gang-related crimes. Yet those arrests resulted in just 62 convictions. This is a conviction rate of just 43%. Now think about what that means. It means that more than half of those arrested in these gang-related murder cases were never successfully convicted and are out on the streets committing more crime. For every criminal who escapes justice, another family is denied closure. Another community loses confidence in the law, and another dangerous offender is free to commit more crimes. That is why arrests alone are not enough. Justice depends on skilled detectives who know how to build strong cases. It depends on crime scenes being protected, evidence being collected correctly, case dockets being managed professionally, DNA and ballistic testing being completed quickly and accurately, and prosecutors receiving well-prepared cases that can stand up in court. Every single link in that chain matters. When one link fails, justice fails. A DA government will rebuild that entire chain.
We will strengthen detective services and restore reliable forensic, DNA and ballistic services so evidence is processed properly and without any delay. We will improve crime scene management, and we will strengthen coordination between the SAPS, the Hawks, the National Prosecuting Authority, and Retief Oudendaal's Metro Police Service right here in Nelson Mandela Bay. We will deploy specialist investigators and prosecutors to target gang leaders in the northern areas, organized crime syndicates in KwaNobuhle, and kidnapping networks in Motherwell. And because successful prosecutions often depend on courageous witnesses like you, we will strengthen witness and whistleblower protection. Our message is simple. A criminal should not fear arrest alone. A criminal should fear conviction. Because under a DA-led government, violent offenders will be caught, properly investigated, and locked up.
Yes!
That is how you restore faith in the justice system. That is how you protect innocent people. And that is how we will make Nelson Mandela Bay, the Eastern Cape, and South Africa a safer place for all our citizens. Viva DA, viva!
From Gauteng. He is the DA's federal chairperson. He's also the leader of the official opposition in the Gauteng legislature. This guy is giving the ANC gas. Hey! When he speaks, he speaks out Dutch. None other than Solly. Viva Solly, viva! Viva Solly, viva! Pata Solly, pata! Pata Solly, pata!
Soli, 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 Sam! Hey! Soli, Soli, Soli! Aye, Soli Msimanga, aye!
Halala tie, halala! Halala tie, halala! Halala tie, halala! Phansi ngamasala phansi! Phansi ngamasala phansi! Down with criminals, down! Down with criminals, down! Democrats, members of the community, thank you very much. To the leadership, to my leader, I want to say thank you very much that you could join with us and the leadership of the Eastern Cape here that have braved this weather but said we hear the cry of the community and we will stand with the community. We want to say we are here to say to the men and women in blue that are not corrupt that we stand with you, that we will fight with you until we win this war. I want to say to you, I'm not here to tell you the stats because you are the stats. You are the stats. When you call 10,111, nobody answers. And when they answer, nobody comes. And instead of them coming, you see them where they sell drugs on the street and they come in to collect chocho. That's when you see them. I want to say I'm not here to come and tell you about the stats because you know a brother that has been killed. You know a son that has been killed. You know a daughter that has been raped. You know of people that have laid criminal charges, but dockets go missing every day. I'm not here to come and tell you about the stats because you are living it every day. But what I'm here to tell you is this. If we don't do something about it, we will have no country in the future. You see, we have been speaking about it. Communities have been saying something about it. Whistleblowers have risked their lives saying something about it. And now it is confirmed by the Mandela Commission and the ad hoc committee that the South African Police Service has been captured. That the South African Police Service is now owned by the criminals. When you see the police, you are more scared of the police instead of then feeling that you are protected by the police. It cannot be that in South Africa, when you see a police person, you are wondering, is this the man that is going to be part of making sure that a docket disappear, that making sure that criminals continue to live a lavish lifestyle while you and me are living in fear? That cannot continue to happen in South Africa. We need to clean up the road, and this is why we are saying part of the message and part of what we are proposing is to make sure that there is a cleanup in the South African Police Service. When there's a cleanup in the South African Police Service, we can then say, criminals, your days are numbered. You cannot live freely while ordinary citizens live in fear. We are saying that it cannot be that dockets will disappear while we are waiting for prosecutions to take place. It cannot be that monies are going to disappear and be buying Lamborghinis while the right police don't have vehicles to be patrolling our streets. It cannot be that police stations don't even have holding cells, but criminals are living in mansions paid for by the police service itself. It cannot be. And until we clean the South African Police Service, until we are able to demonstrate that we stand behind the men and women in blue who are truly trying to do their job, it will be that criminals will continue to do what they're doing. So I want to say to you, Democrats, that we want to say it starts with cleaning up the corruption that is there. It starts with making sure that politicians, the criminals, the police that are wearing badges, the dirty badges, are getting out of the police service. If we are able to do that, we will be able to reclaim our streets, we'll be able to reclaim our communities, and when you do that, you'll be able to then invest in the South African Police Service. You have more police that are patrolling, you'll be able to attract investment. When you attract investment, you'll be able to get jobs going. When you get jobs going, you're able to give the people of South Africa better dignified life. That is what we want to see in South Africa. So I want to say to you that the message is very simple. Let's clean up. Let's clean up. Let's clean up. There's nothing as dangerous as a policeman who is dirty. Because a criminal is dangerous because he's got a gun. But a policeman that he's got a gun, he's got a uniform, he's got the dockets, he's got database, he's got the state resources, and is corrupt. That is the most dangerous person that we need to get rid of. And we must clean the South African Police Service and offer the people of South Africa a better tomorrow. Amandla! Amandla! Forward, yeah, forward! Forward, yeah, forward!
Thank you so much. Federal Chairperson, jullie kan beter as hy doen. No, guys. A beter hande klap. Let's make some noise. Yeah, vorentoe colleagues. Remember I said when I introduced Andrew, he's the father of the province. We also have a father in this country. Do you know who he is? Do you know who he is? I want to introduce to you the DA's federal leader, Jordan!
Pambili JHL, Pambili.
What a wonderful sight it is. I know that it's a cold and wet day, but we are here with warm hearts. We want to give our warm hearts to every victim of crime in this metro, to every family that has lost a loved one. And we also want to do something else, Varam. We're here today to give a Varam clap to criminals, to send the message. The DA is the party in South Africa that will restore law and order in our country. You know, when I heard your mayoral candidate, Retief Wedendal, talking, I got excited for Nelson Mandela Bay. Can you imagine on the 5th of November if we can do the things he was talking about? If we can put a Metro Police office right here in this community, what a difference that would make. If we can double the size of the Metro Police in the first year, is what he said, what a difference that would make to this city. That is why I want him to be the mayor. Do you want him to be the mayor? We have got to make sure the DA wins in Nelson Mandela Metro on the 4th of November so that we can make this a safer city for everyone who lives here. And we are going to be the party that makes South Africa safer for every one of our families. Because it is wrong that normal South Africans, you and me, we have to lock ourselves in our own homes at night. We have to close our gates and our walls and our windows. We are locked up while criminals are free. That is wrong. And no one else is going to turn it around other than the DA. Only we have got a plan to catch criminals, to convict them, and to clean up our saps. I want you to say, catch. I didn't hear you at the back. Catch, convict, and clean up. Catch, convict, and clean up.
And clean up.
What is the DA going to do? We are going to convict and clean up. That is what the DA will do. How are we going to catch them? Well, you know, our provincial chair, Yusuf Kasim, he came here previously and there were only 7 working police cars in this area. 7 for this whole area. The worst murder precinct in the whole Eastern Cape. Only 7 cars. You're never going to catch criminals like that. And when you do catch them, you're never going to convict them if you don't have enough detectives that can do their job properly. And once you've got detectives that can do their job properly, you're never going to put criminals in prison so long as you have so many criminals inside the police. And you all see it happening right in front of your eyes. In your communities, how many of you can say you see those police vehicles stopping at that one house every day? Whenever there's a complaint, the police tell our residents, don't even bother, we're not going to take your statement. Because too many of our police are working with the criminals. Now I want to say with full respect, and I know there's police officers there, there are police officers who are good, honest South Africans. They're trying to do a good job. And we honor them. We honor them. But among them, among the good ones, there are too many bad ones. Too many are working with the criminals. We have to catch, convict, and clean up. Now I want to make a call directly to President Ramaphosa. You know that for a whole year, this weekend, a whole year, we've had 2 police ministers. One acting, one suspended. Both of them have been earning a full salary, 2.8 million rand a year. You know that with that salary, we could have hired 8 new police detectives.
Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but imagine if we brought those 8 detectives right here in this area, what difference they could make to catching criminals and bringing down murder. How many lives could they save? How many children could they save in this part of Nelson Mandela Metro? So we are making a call today to President Ramaphosa. We cannot beat permanent crime with temporary ministers and temporary police leadership. We need a permanent police minister now. Get rid of the corrupt one. Get rid of all the dirty cops. And give us a permanent police leadership. Show us that you are serious about fixing violent crime in South Africa. And if you don't, then after November in all of these cities and after 2029 in South Africa, the DA will get it done. We are the only party that is serious about the rule of law and law and order in South Africa. So let me tell you some people who are not going to vote for the DA in November. You know who's not going to vote for the DA? Criminals. And if you're a criminal, let me tell you something. You can carry on voting for that other party that's going to protect you. But it's not going to be enough, because enough residents, citizens, South Africans are sick and tired of your crime and the party that protects you, and they're going to be voting for the DA. There's someone else who's not going to vote for the DA, and I don't mind. It's corrupt cops. If you are a corrupt cop, carry on voting for the other party that has protected you all this time. We are the party that is going to clean up the saps. So let me say to criminals in Nelson Mandela Metro in South Africa, your days are numbered. The DA is coming. And when the DA comes, we are going to catch, we are going to convict, and we are going to clean up. We are going to catch, we are going to convict, and we are going to clean up. Let's vote DA in November. Thank you. Viva DA, viva! Hello,
Jordan Lewis, Allah. 4-2, Jordan Lewis, 4-2.
4-2.
Lead, DI, lead. Lead, DI, lead. Thank you so much, colleagues. Colleagues, now we have come to a very emotional moment.
Yeah.
We're going to do the reed laying.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call upon our federal leadership, our provincial leadership, and even our local leadership to come and grab one.
Yes.
Can I please ask you in front, just to make some space for our leaders to go over to the wall there.
Yes.
Where we're going to continue with the memorial.
Yes.
And after that, I will ask Bex Nodada and Audrey Camphor to do the thanking for us.
Yes.
Thank you so much, colleagues. As we proceed to the wall. Can we proceed, colleagues? Can we proceed?
With just 5 months to go before South Africans take to the polls, it's not just political parties gearing up, but also the IEC, under the theme Get Up, Show Up, vote. The Commission is encouraging all to exercise their democratic right to vote.
And with President Cyril Ramaphosa officially proclaiming November the 4th as the date for the 2026 local government elections, the race toward Election Day is now fully underway.
Voter registration will take place on the 20th and 21st of June, ahead of the polls that are scheduled for the 4th of November.
Voter turnout was just under 59% during the 2024 general elections. More than 11 million people who registered to vote didn't show up at the polls.
The Electoral Commission says more than 70% of young people who are eligible to vote have not registered to vote.
Almost 28 million people are on the voters' roll. But will that translate into actual votes?
Beyond party politics, this vote may hinge on turnout, on trust, and just whether municipalities can actually deliver.
Welcome back to the broadcast here in Nelson Mandela Bay, where we march to the 10111 call centre to say that we have to catch, convict and clean up the justice system. I am now joined by the DA's national spokesperson, Karabo Khachau. Karabo, can you tell us what is the message that was given here today?
Nicely, number one, there is no space for criminals in South Africa. If you are a criminal terrorizing communities, you wake up every morning and you go to bed and the only thing you think about is who you're going to kill next, who you're going to rape next, which house you're going to rob next. You have no place in South Africa. That is the primary message that we're sending to South Africans as the Democratic Alliance. And we're not going to wait for you to hand yourself over. We are saying we're going to catch you. We want you convicted so that we can clean up our communities, clean up our society, and make sure that when the sun rises tomorrow, we're all free in our land, experiencing the safety that we all deserve.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, Karabo. Now, we've heard about the statistics, but we also know that behind every statistic is a human life. Why is it important to always remember the human factor?
Nasli, when an Oma and an Opa wake up on pension day and they go to the SASSA office to go get their SASSA, they shouldn't worry about whether on their way back home or on their way to buy groceries for their grandchildren, some of those whose parents have died, they will be able to be safe, or whether they will be robbed of those cents that they owe, that are the only thing standing between them and their ability to put food on the table. When kids wake up in winter, when it's dark in the wee hours of the morning going to school to go get education, they shouldn't worry whether they will get to school safe, robbed or even raped. When they come back from school, they should be able to play in the parks safely, not worried that there's some uncle or some guy that is going to steal their joy. When I go to bed at night, whether I locked my door or not, I shouldn't worry whether I'm in a township, when I'm in Alexandra, or whether I'm in Constantia. I must be able to leave the door open, unlocked, closed, sleep without a worry altogether. When we cry as women and knock at the doors of a police station, say we've been raped or we're fearing for our lives or somebody has been killed, we shouldn't wonder whether the police officer we're talking to is bought or is our safe haven. That is why you can't take the human element out of the conversation of crime altogether. When, I can give you so many scenarios, but the bottom line is crime does not affect statistics or movie-like stories. Crime affects our daily living, our ability to live within peace, our ability to even have weddings and celebrate without the fear of the groom being shot right next to you as you say, I do. And that's why the human element matters. And that is why the fight to catch, to convict and to clean up is not just a Democratic Alliance project. It is a South African project where all of us as South Africans must play our part in making sure that if you know a criminal, go report them. If you know somebody that is part of a gangster, that is a gangster team or is leading gangsterism in your communities, speak out and make sure that those people are ostracized from our communities. That is why we are here. So the message is clear. Let us catch, let us convict, let us clean up our communities.
Thank you very much, Karabo, for joining in today's broadcast. The message is
simple. We have to catch, we have to convict, and we have to clean up the criminal justice system. And that is why so many, in their thousands, DA supporters as well as community members gathered here today at SAPS 10.1 in Nelson Mandela Bay to say enough is enough. Please make sure that you go out and register to vote on the 1st and the 2nd of August. You can skip the line and go to check.da.org.za to make sure that you are correctly registered to vote. If you do not vote, then you take the power out of your hands and put it into somebody else's. We need to vote to make sure we have proper metro police to make sure that they give and set out the law and make sure they catch the criminals. We have to continue working and voting for the Democratic Alliance. Remember the 1st and the 2nd of August registration weekend. Check.da.org.za. Thank you so much for joining today's broadcast. Make sure you like and share this broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Put the little notification bell so you know whenever we upload and have a new video or live coming your way. My name is Nazli Sharif, signing out. Shap and away. We are launching our first ever election campaign poster for November 2026 local government elections.
There's nothing as disappointing as you wanting to make a change or waking up and saying, I want to make a change, but only to find out that you are not registered or you are registered in the wrong place.
Because if you're not registered, you can't vote, and you can only vote at the voting station where you are registered.
Even if you don't know who to vote for yet, buy yourself the option by registering to vote. Decide to be part of the group that decides what the future of our city should be.
But today we stand here excited and full of hope because we have an opportunity where we can register and ensure that we vote for a government that will get our city working for its people.
The choice is going to be very, very clear. You're going to have some of the same, where you have a failed government in place, or you're going to put a new government in place led by the Democratic Alliance. And we are asking you to come out in your numbers and register to vote and vote for the Democratic Alliance on the 4th of November.
So make sure that you are registered by going to check.da.org.za. You can register right now in the comfort of your own home. Remember, go to check.da.org.za
and come and vote for a new government on the 4th of November. Kyk wat doen 'n blyse.
Thanks for watching. Join the mission to rescue South Africa. Like and follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and X. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell. Join the DA, because the DA gets things done.